Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to first start out by giving infinite praises to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai Ba'ashim Kakwadash. Double honors to my apostle and elders, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and salutations to the elect men pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. This is Brother Yakanam from the DC Church, and the topic I wanted to touch on today, as the header is entitled, and it says all or nothing mindset. You know, that's the mindset that we have to be in. To truly be in this faith and be in this ministry. You have to have an all or nothing mindset. And ultimately what that is just having a mindset to being able to give up everything that we know and we love in this world. And of course we're going to have things that we value, especially especially going through this cleansing process, being in the flesh and and our spirits being cleansed and our mind being cleansed and our bodies being cleansed. We're going to have things that we're going to hold on to. We're going to have certain attachments, things that we love in this world, right? Especially being in this flesh. But when we come into this faith, when we come into this ministry, we have to have an all or nothing mindset, and ultimately what that is having a mindset to being able and being willing and having to give up everything that we know and we love in this world to achieve greater in the kingdom of heaven, which is ultimately the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. We have to be able to give up everything. And I just wanted to get a few scriptures to go into that. There's plenty more I could have got, but this is what I thought off the top of my head. I'm gonna first start off by getting Sirach chapter 4 verse 28, and it says, "Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee." Plain and simple. Strive for the truth unto death. What we're in, we call this the truth for a reason, because we have the true gospel, we have the true names, which is Yahweh Shai, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus and God. And that's all a part of having the truth. Us knowing that we're Hebrew Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Knowing what the MOTB is. That's all of a part of the truth. Knowing what the prophecies that are to come, that's a part of having the truth. And we have to strive to not only get the truth, right, to be able, but also to spread the truth, spread the gospel unto death. And the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai will fight for us, and we have to believe that. And we have to have an all or nothing mindset to say, hey, we're willing to put our lives on this, because we know because we know it's true, or we're willing to die. We have to have an all or nothing mindset, and that's a hell of a mindset to have, because that it goes to show the length and how much you believe what your following is. Having that all or nothing mindset. And the only way that the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai will fight for you is if you do have that all or nothing mindset. Nothing more and nothing less. This is what does the scripture say in Romans 12? This is our reasonable service. Give your bodies as a living sacrifice, and this is our reasonable service. We have to strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord will fight for us. That's the only way the Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai will defend you, is if you're willing and you're able to strive for the truth unto death. And of course, there's some the scripture says there are some standing here that will not taste of death, but your resolve has to be all the same. That's where resolve comes in, where your heart is. And the scriptures talk about how the Lord knows your heart and the deepest intents of man. So he knows your spirit. He knows where your faith lies ultimately. That's why we're going through this cleansing process of giving diligence, doing the things needful to grow our spirits, so we do get to that level. Now this is Sirach chapter 2 verse 13. It says, "Woe unto them that is faint-hearted." And for those that aren't able to or are not willing to strive for the truth unto death and have that all or nothing mindset, it's destruction unto you. It says, "Woe unto the faint-hearted," the ones that are not able to have that kind of resolve. For he believeth not. So for the ones that are faint-hearted and believeth not, the Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai can't defend you, because you don't have any faith. Now, therefore, he shall not be defended. You know, the only way that you could be defended and the Lord will fight for you is if you have that all or nothing mindset. If you're able to give up your life, literally and figuratively, to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You know, there's no way, there's no other way around it. Continuing on, Salaki, I'm en route, headed to camp. It says that therefore he shall not be defended. Continuing on, woe unto you that have lost patience. That also goes into the time period that we're in right now, the grace period, in which we have to have the utmost patience, waiting on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to make his move. It says, woe unto you that have lost patience. And what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you? Because that's eventually going to happen. The Lord will visit you. It's not a question of if. It's a question of when. He will visit us. But what do you are you going to be? Are you going to have that faint-hearted spirit? Are you going to lose patience before then? Hopefully the question is no. We keep that faith. And we're able to strive for the truth unto death and have that all or nothing mindset, and being able to give up the things that we have care for in this world, so we can attain more in the kingdom of heaven. Now it says, verse 15, they that fear the Lord will not disobey his word, and they that love him will keep his ways. And that goes into keeping his ways on this go around to the best of our ability in this flesh. A part of his ways, and the biggest part of his ways, is keeping that patience and keeping that faith and not being faint-hearted. Everything, and having the fear in him, which accounts for us being able to keep the law, statutes, commandments to the best of our ability. That's only for those that have that all or nothing mindset. The ones that don't, they're what's it called? They'll eventually be weeded out through the Spirit. Verse 16, it says, they that fear the Lord will seek that which is well, pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight. And his sight is right now. We're we're going through that process of preparing our hearts and humbling our souls before his sight right now. So when the time of Jacob's trouble comes, and he sees that we haven't faltered or fainted in those times, he will defend us from the things that are to come. Because the times that are to come are terrible times. They're times of great destruction, pestilence, and great death. Without Yahweh Shem Yahushai to be there to defend you, there's nothing we can possibly do. There's nothing that we could possibly do to be able to survive those times. And we're looking for a defense, and our defense is Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's the only defense that we have as Hebrew Israelites, period. And that's why there's that's why there's no other way to go through the times that are to come, except for having that all or nothing mindset, being able to give up everything, so we do have a defense, right? Verse 18, it says saying, we will fall into the hands of the Lord and not into the hands of men. For as his majesty is, so is his mercy. So as his majesty is, so is his mercy. So if we have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we believe that he will that he will have mercy upon us if we have that all or nothing mindset. If we are able to give up everything that we hold dear, even our own lives, to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that he will defend us. Because not only is he a powerful Lord, he is a merciful power. And we have to believe that wholeheartedly. We have to believe that he will have mercy upon those that believe him. This is Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. It says, I know thy works and thy tribulation and poverty. The Lord knows this. The Lord knows all the things that we've been going through, in the flesh, in this go around, right? But thou art rich. And rich in what? We're rich in faith. For the ones that aren't faint-hearted, for the ones that do, for the ones that are able to strive for the truth unto death, the ones that do have that all or nothing mindset, that are able to bank everything on the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai. They're rich in faith. And I know the blasphemy of them which they say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. you know, and that goes into onto the fake rats that claim they're Jews, you know, that claim they're God's chosen people, but really they're the synagogue of Satan. You know, they're rich in tangibles, but they're not rich in faith. They're not rich in spirit, you know, because they don't have the Holy Spirit. They don't have the Ruach Kodesh. Continuing on, fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer, you know. Salakia, trying to merge right here. Fear none of the things that thou, let me get by right here. It says, fear none of the things that thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. So we will go through tribulation. We will go through persecution, you know, in the times to come. And this is during the end times. That ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. But be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. You know, and that's ultimately what we're the spirit that we ultimately have to be in. You know, that all or nothing mindset. You know, when we be cast into prison, when we go through persecution, we have to have that all or nothing mindset of being faithful unto death and being granted that crown of life in the end. You know, we will be tried. You know, this is just a path of difficulty. It's a narrow path that only one can enter at a time. So we will be tried. But the goal ultimately is to keep the faith, so we can be granted that crown of life. You know, the journey to get into the kingdom of heaven is not an easy journey. You know, and it's a journey, and it's a path that comes with a lot of trials and tribulation. You know, but at the end thereof, there's a reward. You know, for those that are able to keep the faith, the ones that have that all or nothing mindset, the ones that are able to give up everything. You know, now this is Luke chapter 14, verse 26. It says, if any man come to me, and this is Yahushua speaking, and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, even his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. So this is ultimately talking about hating their ways, and hating having to live in this predicament in which the ones that we hold dearly, the ones that we love dearly, you know, are, you know, living in a society of wickedness, you know, and also hating ourselves in the sense of we have to be in this flesh as well, you know, because in being in this flesh, we're subject to sin, you know, so we have to hate everything about this current life, you know. So if you're okay with the conditions that we're living in, and you can see yourself living and dying in America being a slave, this is not for you. You can't follow Yahweh. You can't follow Yahushua. You can't be a disciple of Yahushua. If you're comfortable in this predicament that we're in, you can't be a disciple of Yahushua. You have to have a hatred of this current life, you know. And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come up after me cannot be my disciple. You know, so you have to be able to give up everything and sacrifice yourself to be able to follow Yahweh Shai, you know. And that's all a part of having that all or nothing mindset, being able to give up everything and the people that you love on this go around, so you can attain greater in the kingdom of heaven by following Yahweh Shai and Mashiach, right? Now this is 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18. It says, while we look for the things Salakia, let me see. Let me go slowly. It says, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen, for the things that are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Right? So we have to be in the mindset to where we're looking for the things that we can't see, and the things that we currently see are the things of this world, right? And everything that we see in this world, we have to be able to give up right now. You know, we have to be able to sacrifice and give up everything that we see, from the people to the lifestyle to everything, the riches that we're able to attain in this world, the people that we love, everything that we see physically and this go around. We have to be able to give up everything for the things which are not seen, which are the things that come with the kingdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And in order to do that, you have to have the vision. You know, you have to be able to receive the vision through the scriptures, and be able to see the thing, and be able to see the things that are spoken of in the scriptures through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and believe that they're real, And these things will happen, you know? And with that, I'm going to say, call law, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders at Great Millstone and Peace Society.